on the Friday Standdown. We got Tejano Brown, we got Colin Moody, and we got AlbertaGarbage sitting here.
What?
What's up, guys?
Talking a little bit about everything that's going on out in West Texas with some of those injection wells getting shut down with that seismic activity. And it's kind of an isolated situation with a couple of specific injection wells at this point in time. But we were just talking about how that may be something that gets a little more attention to the issue and could spread from there to more wells. But Colin was just telling us about a little bit of the science behind how that happens. Colin, can you kind of fill us in a little bit on that?
It's the science is actually, it's pretty well baked. What happens if you're injecting into whatever injection, your disposal zone, let's call it disposal wells, because we're talking about SWDs, so we'll call it by the right terminology. So disposal wells. So you're injecting in your disposal zone, and if there happens to be, a pre-existing fault that cuts formation, if you exceed the pore volume fluid injection of the disposal zone, it has a possibility to leak into that existing fault. And if you get enough fluid in that fault where it can spread, what tends to happen is it can lubricate that fault. And if you put enough fluid in it, you see some slippage, and that's where it breaks, and that's where you propagate an earthquake. And if you continue to pump that and pump fluid into that fault, it's going to continue to happen because it's full of lubricant and it's pressured up past the point that it can contain itself. And so formation can't contain the fluid anymore, and it has to go somewhere. And faults are typically the path of least resistance.
So TB, you kind of were filling us in that you've done a little bit of work on some pretty shallow injection wells out there in West Texas. Seems like that's real shallow stuff. Where were y'all kind of working at on that, if you can tell us?
So one of the last SWDs that I was able to perforate, this was probably like 2017, 2018, and it was in Martin County, which is in your Big Spring, Stanton area. I can't exactly remember the depth, but it was either the deepest depth. The deepest perforation was either 1,700 feet or 1,200 feet, which is, man, that is extremely shallow. But these are wells that aren't going to be not trying to find oil. It's just to dispose of fluids that are coming back. All the returns they're getting from oil and gas producing wells. So, anyways, we were shooting. It was like 20 footers of 4-inch guns, which that's some big guns right there. Like, just the diameter itself is 4 inches, fully loaded. So you have 80 shots in there, and Connex charges at that, which are used for deep penetration. So those penetrations that go into the rock are gonna extend a lot longer than what your average jet perforating charge would do. So they only gave me so many feet to perforate. So it was like about a 500-foot area where we need you to perforate. You keep in mind I'm perforating 20 guns, so trying to evenly divide that out, I had to go back and re-perforate. Telling the consultant, like, hey man, I'm gonna have to perf again and a previous spot where I perforated, and they were fine with that. Needless to say, I turned that that casing, I said it earlier, into Swiss cheese, which, I mean, I can only imagine what it looked like. I wouldn't be surprised if that casing was just hanging on by a damn thread after I got done with it.
Blowing the whole damn thing up.
That's extremely, extremely shallow perforations. The only other time I've ever shot anything that shallow, I think the most shallow I've ever shot anything is about 900 feet. But these were for plug and abandonment wells, which coincidentally are in the same area as Antina Ranch. So what's going on over there, I can, firsthand, I can say for myself that I've seen some crazy shit from what, the CO2 injections have done to this whole entire area, at least in that area itself.
Hey, Alberta, what are y'all doing with all of your water disposal up there in Canada? Are y'all having the same issues?
I mean, we certainly have induced seismicity issues in some areas. We got a lot of stuff that's water flood. We don't have as much, like the zones that we have, like you guys, if you're fracking something deep in like the Wolf Camp or Strawberry or whatever, and I take in mind I'm not an expert on this, but you get a big water cut coming back. Our stuff that we're fracking tends to be more, we don't get nearly the water cut, so we don't have as much water disposal requirements. Like we don't have the same volumes. And when you're talking stuff that's, we have some fields that have huge water cuts, but they're almost all basically water flood fields. They're rock washing operations. And so that doesn't have the induced seismicity issues because you're just recycling the water back into the same zone it came from. Although there are some areas where we do have the seismicity, like around Fox Creek, which Fox Creek is a spot where we're doing some pretty deep, tight oil and gas development in a formation called the Duvernay. And there's been complaints and all that about it there. I mean, we don't have the volume of water disposal that you guys are dealing with. I don't think we have it by an order of magnitude. So we just don't have those issues, really.
We know what's crazy is, you say you guys don't have the same, level of water that the Permian has. Me and Petra, I actually was Petra was talking to me last night about this. I mean, if you go back and you think about it, the Permian, millions of years ago was just a giant fucking ocean. So with all these quakes that are happening and the amount of fluid that we're getting in return, brine and all that, are we just fucking bringing back shit that's been buried for millions of fucking years?
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And especially, the Permian, it's been a stable basin for a long time, and it doesn't have, its developmental history is, basically quit deposition not much longer after the Permian. And so it's been super stable, and there's good cap rocks, there's good seal rocks. And so, once you start over injecting and you start inducing seismicity and, reactivating these older faults, you're connected to different reservoirs than you intend to be. There's no doubt. Absolutely.
We got Colin Jr.'s Mesh sitting here in the lobby waiting to join in. Let's see if he's got anything to add to the conversation about all this. Hey, Don, you there? We'll wait for him to get his audio.
Don, I was listening to your song today. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, fucking love that song, dude. I'm actually looking forward to it. That's honestly, I'm not trying to talk shit about Don, but I was really surprised by how talented that he fucking is just to be able to produce that song. I love the shout out with the square toast thing too.
I also appreciated my shout out.
Oh yeah, dude, yours is always. I mean, I put that in that fucking graph that I had that one time, the DW Alberta Wars.
I know Kitty's been pissed off that Don's been getting so much attention and everything with those songs he's putting out. And Kitty said he might join on later just to talk some shit. But
oh, good. Well, I mean, if he doesn't like it, he should just make better songs.
True, yeah.
And that may hurt his feelings, but he's a cat, so I'll just spray him with a water gun if he doesn't like it.
So I have a question for you guys, as I really don't pay attention too much to other plays other than the Permian, because obviously I'm here in West Texas. Other than West Texas itself and Oklahoma, is there really any type of seismic activity when it comes to oil plays in any other region in the world?
That's a great question. As far as intercontinental U.S., Permian and Anadarko and Ardmore are the poster child for induced seismicity. It just, that's where it has been documented ad nauseum. I don't know. What do you think, Berta?
There's more holes in the ground in the Permian than anywhere else in the world, right?
If you want to look at historical examples of induced seismicity from water disposal, actually the best example is looking at Denver in the mid-70s, around 1975. They came up with a scheme to dispose of sewage disposal, and forcing it into injection wells very, very deep under the city. And they had huge problems with induced seismicity.
I knew that city was built full of shit.
So okay,
Absolutely. It's literally foundations are just soaked in shit.
when you say sewage, are we like actually talking like actual human excrement and all that?
Yeah, like
Well, see,
domestic sewage water.
I could see that happening because think about it. I mean, you let shit ferment, it's going to create gas pressure and all that thing. So that I can see fucking happening 100%. Whereas versus
one of these days we're gonna have to drill a well to produce that.
Just fucking shit everywhere. Like
in
you
the,
know, rest
in the
peace,
Denver
Bob,
shit formation.
yeah, rest in peace, Bob Saget. That part, I forgot what fucking movie it is where he walks in, and he's just screaming, "There's shit everywhere."
That was
It's
one of the
the DS basin. But no, if you want, like people talk about fracking induced seismicity, and I tend to think it is much more caused by water, deep water injection. Although I'm sure, frack jobs can have the same effect, but people have associated with fracking, and I think possibly erroneously at times. And that is a great historical example to show that it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with oil and gas development specifically, but just forcing large volumes of liquids into underground formations at high pressures.
Okay, well, is there a correlation with the timeline of when we started? Because some of the first fracks were like in like the 1950s or whatever. Obviously, Halliburton's the guy, the motherfuckers that innovated it and all this shit. But like, what's the timetable and the correlation with fucking saltwater disposals and seismic activity? Like, was it always occurring when we started fracking, or did this just become when SW started?
Alexander the Great drilled the first saltwater disposal well back in 1500 AD when he was fighting in the Revolutionary War.
Is that why fucking Colin likes him so much?
And allegedly, George Washington was crossing a creek that was fed by this disposal well and farted, and the creek caught fire. And that was the point where everybody said, holy shit, we need to switch to green energy right now.
We should probably ask Art because with 42 years of experience, I'm sure he knows when the first SWD was.
That was actually the most coherent ESG story that I have ever heard.
So, talking about ESG, we've got a buddy of mine right here who we're going to drop into the conversation. And he worked as a drilling engineer for quite a few years, and I think is working for a ESG company now. But let's see what he's got to say about this. What's up, James? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right, man. What are you doing these days?
Monitoring for methane. Fugitive emissions.
You're smelling farts, basically.
Yep, pretty much. Actually,
Nice.
You can see them now.
Damn, that must be some spicy food.
Yeah, we actually saw a deer fart on a location the other day. It's pretty sensitive equipment.
You got to
Where
get a
are
video
you
of
guys
that, man.
primarily monitoring right now?
South Texas, West Texas, and North Dakota.
Okay, so pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. All
But
the fun
not
places.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Nobody
Not
cares
Oklahoma.
about methane in Oklahoma, right?
Doesn't seem that way.
So, how long have you been working there?
About 6 months. So yeah, it was a pretty big career transition from drilling, that's for sure. But the surface equipment all looks the same. It's oilfield adjacent, if not not true
oilfield
oilfield,
adjacent.
but
Okay. Hey, Colin, how much methane are you monitoring out in your wells out there?
0. we don't produce much, and what we do produce, we use it as fuel gas, and so whatever methane emissions there are, they're going to be pretty much minimal, because we not only do we produce little gas, but the little gas we do produce, we burn, and we don't even burn enough. We have to supplement with propane. So yeah, methane emissions are a zero problem.
Yeah, most single and multi-well sites, you don't see a whole lot. Compressor stations are big offenders for the most part.
Okay, well, does Bitcoin fix that?
Actually, people are. I mean, it's better than flaring from a EPA standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't really know that you can run Bitcoin off of just flare gas, though. I mean, you can, but you're never going to make your money back. So,
well, especially methane. Methane, the BTU content is so low. Like, I don't know if you could generate much with just straight methane.
There are companies out there that are running microgrids, and I know that they're basically just using stranded gas to run a generator, and they seem to be getting a lot of attention from the crypto folks. But yeah, it's not my area of expertise, but it sounds like people are doing it somehow.
Can you mine with H2S?
No,
I mean, it's the fucking
not
gas.
with our equipment.
I mean, not. I'm just saying, like, in general. I mean, like, because I mean, I really don't understand the whole Bitcoin mining shit. Obviously,
you can run generators off of H2S. You're just going to burn through all your parts.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's highly fucking corrosive. That makes sense.
Corrosive. But yeah, especially if it's high BTU content, but you got to run stainless and chrome, everything.
And
but,
so that's even more expensive when you're shipped.
But also, you still have sulfur dioxide. So
that's just the byproduct, right?
Yep.
If you guys want to talk about what you do with H2S, I'm working with a company right now helping them get financed. And they take liquid sulfur right off the Klaus, right off the sulfur recovery unit, and convert it directly by this incredibly simple process into a field-ready fertilizer product that is as bioavailable as ammonium sulfate with essentially zero energy input.
This sounds like magic beans.
Honestly, dude, it sounds like magic beans. I've seen it. Like, I've actually seen the stuff, and I've seen the white papers that they've already got made on it. It's incredible.
Huh.
Yeah, it's deadly. It's really cool shit. It's oil and gas guys who did it too.
Really?
I love oil and gas, man. Yep. Right. Sorry to derail the Bitcoin discussion there. I know how the importance of Bitcoin. Sorry. I apologize. Bitcoin will fix our crops along with everything else.
UniKitty called in. I guess he heard he was a little offended by everybody talking about Don Jr.'s new single. So
did he release something?
Yeah, the EFT anthem. Did you not hear it?
No, I don't. I'm too busy these days. Plus, I might just fucking re-release it and sing it myself.
Did someone like put you in a carrier and hide you away or something?
Man, I've helped old Don Jr. with some writing. He could use some work on the pitch, but he's got a nice little deep voice and he works some good lyrics. So there's room for more. I'm not messed up about it.
Are you guys paying attention to the chat? Because we got some dudes that are wanting to join. I'm telling them to go to the link posted on Friday Standdown. Put it profile.
Yeah, I think that's.
You guys want to hear a good story?
Yes.
All right. So I'm up here on this project that I'm working on. And they decided they were going to do a couple sidetrack re-drills on these SAGD wells that they drilled too deep in the zone. They drilled the producers too deep. So they got in and they milled out a casing. And anyway, on the first one, for a bunch of reasons that I could have told them if I were here, They had all these issues cooked, repeated steam kicks, and then they got stuck. They stuck running liner in the hole. So they ended up setting this liner like 300 meters high. So it's way up in the build section. And then production said, hey, let's run our coil string in there, and then let's run our ESP on top of the coil string inside the liner. And don't worry, we got 12 millimeters of clearance. That's fine. No big deal. And against advice from the field, they insisted that we did this. So we obliged. And it all went well until they decided that we'd gotten far enough pulling down with our pull downs on our slant rig. And they said, yeah, just pull up a joint and land the hanger. Like, all right. So we went from pulling, we go in decks, like thousand, it's like a ton, like a metric ton. So we went from pulling like, I don't know, our string weight was like 3.6 decks, and then we're pulling 5, and then we're pulling 10, and then we're pulling 15.
Ooh, bad.
And there was this really big bang, and it let go. And then we tested our ESP cable, and it was no good anymore. And so they're like, oh, ESP cable's no good. Better pull her out of the hole and put a new one on. We made it another couple meters, and then we were pulling 25 decks. And then we proceeded to just absolutely brute force rip this tubing string out of the hole. It was only 380 meters deep.
Oh, geez.
And I'm happy to report that we left 47 out of 48 ESP cable clamps in the hole, 330 meters of ESP cable, and the lower half of the ESP.
You know what you should
How
have
much
done?
did the top drive bounce?
Oh man, the rig was just it was incredible. It was like on a roller coaster ride on the floor.
That's like
Did you have jars on?
No, we didn't have jars. This was a tubing string.
Oh, geez.
This was a pump string.
What size tubing are we talking about here? Like 2 and
No, 4.5 buttress tubing.
okay, yeah, because like when you say tubing, I forget that you're, I
We're
guess we're the
talking
only
damn
fucking
near
country in the
basic.
fucking world that doesn't go off of metric. I think of 2 3/8, 2 7/8, shit like that.
Well, 4.5 inch. It's 114 millimeter tubing. It's big shit. Big tubing.
That's big.
And,
It's got huge tension on it.
Oh
Tensile
yeah,
strength.
it's strong as hell. We would have, if it were 2 and 3 or something, we would have ripped that shit apart with the rig, like no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But instead we just ripped and ripped and ripped. And when we bopped off, we looked down the hole real quick, and all 330 meters of the ESP cable, along with a whole pile of the clamps, is just in this horrible rat's nest right on the underside of the tubing hanger, and just this giant rat's nest of crap. It's incredible.
Oh, my God. Dude, that's
And-
the worst.
I called the office and I'm like, yeah, good news and bad news. I was like, good news is we got the tubing string out of the hole. The bad news is half the ESP and all the cable is still in there. And they just laughed.
You know,
laughed.
you should call Underdog to get that shit out of the hole.
Oh my
man.
God.
No,
What we
ask
should
them
be,
if they have
what we
any
should be
if
doing
they
is-
have any mill shoes that'll mill up a ESP.
well, the issue is it's in slotted liner. Like it's in slotted liner. I guarantee you, we just destroyed the liner. I mean, and if we mill it up, then we're going to have about 2,000 pounds of shavings that all fall in and out and around the fucking slotted liner, and we'll never get it out of the hole. You can't circulate that.
No, you got no circulation.
Like we kind of can circulate, but it won't clean out the slots. So it'll just eat up every pump that we start pumping with. So I have got the most amazing fishing job. I have the most amazing fishing job in my future, and I can't tell you how excited I am about it.
Oh, yeah. You sound thrilled.
That sounds fucking shitty.
It's amazing. I'm just, it's like, hey, what are we doing today? Oh, sounds like another magnet run. Sweet.
When you run the
Have
mag,
fun tripping.
when you run magnet, you're running it off a tubing, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, we have to. It's 45. You know, our wells start out at 45 degrees. So
That's so fucking wild, dude. Like I've been on like obviously horizontals, verticals. You know, I've ran gyros to where, you know, we see vertical wells are not always fucking vertical. You know, they fucking like almost go like a cork. But then I used to do a lot of work for Kinder Morgan back in the day, and they would drill fucking S wells, dude. And they primarily focus on the San Andreas area. And I remember I was coming out of the hole one time, and the guy's like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, it's an S well, so be careful coming out." And I saw my attention just fucking that, and I was like, "Fucker, dude! I wish you would have told me that a long time ago, especially running a gosh damn gauge ring."
oh yeah.
Hey guys, I got to bounce.
Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
See you guys. Enjoy.
That's it. Anyway, man, it's been a wild ride up here.
Yeah, I
We
know
had
you've been
one
talking.
morning. We had one morning. It was in your funny temperature. It was minus 59 with the wind chill.
What is that in American?
That's in American.
Okay, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That was just so cold. That sucked.
I think the coldest I've ever experienced it was either 11 degrees or 9 degrees, but it was last year when we had the freeze, and I had to go out and set some fucking ESP Holt catchers, and we were just there watching the rig. You know, they're telling us, "Hey, get away! We got to fucking knock all this ice off, all of our fucking, our blocks and everything." You know, hey man, at any point, it doesn't bother me if you guys shut it down.
Yeah, we don't shut down here until it gets below minus 40 with the wind chill.
Well, see, y'all actually know how to work in that environment, and that's what trips me out. Is like these people, like in like the Bakken, Pennsylvania, and all that. They know they know that environment. Here in West Texas, we're not prepared for shit like that, man. I remember the first time I ever saw people. I was on a job one time for Pioneer Natural Resources, and this was during the 2015 crash, and they had a crew out of Pennsylvania, and they had hoses wrapped around the lubricator. Well, those hoses were just pumping, just probably just water itself, but just fucking to keep it hot. And I was there. I was like, it's not cold enough to be able to freeze it. But that was my first time ever seeing anything like that. The things that we do to be able to prevent, any type of freezes. We use methanol, we use glycol. There's been times where I've wrapped my whole entire grease head, which my wire line would run through it. I'll wrap it with rags and trash bags, just to make sure that it's not going to get too cold. On surface level, it's going to be it's going to be this cold, but I have my lubricator that's 120 feet in the fucking air with wind blowing. It's going to be a lot fucking colder up there. There's been times where I've equalized, and just like that, I fucking flash fucking froze, where it was so bad that I thought the plug actually set in the lubricator, lay the motherfucker down just to see that we're still stuck up top. And we have to get propane burners to be able to free up the fucking wire line itself.
Yeah, man. No, we just like, you just get used to it. And you have your procedures. I had a buddy who worked down in North Dakota when it was really crazy booming down there. And he said he worked on this rig that they sent up from Louisiana, and they went up to do tools. And he was like, "Are you guys going to blow down your top drive?" And they're like, "What? What's that?" And so by the time they figured out that they needed to blow down their top drive, the entire circulating system on the rig was froze solid, and they were froze up for 3 days.
Fuck that, dude. Like that's when the most issues occur on my side of operations is the winter. I absolutely dread the winter, because if you don't have proper seal when you're going into the hole, all that fluid's escaping out. Well, that fucking fluid can almost freeze instantly. So if that shit's freezing me in my fucking grease head, I'm just jerking. All those jerking motions itself can literally fucking just part some of my armors and give me a fucking high strand. The first time I ever high stranded was in the fucking winter. And like I said, that's when we have all our issues. Our hydraulics, like on our cranes, our loggers, they're fucking they're thicker than fucking Canadian maple syrup and shit. And it takes fucking forever for things to get going, dude. And to me, like, I don't always talk about like being this fucking badass and all this, but fuck winter, man. I cannot, like, I'm a tropical motherfucker.
Man, it's touching right around like in your temperature, 28 or 30 today. And I mean, the boys are actually like too hot.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, like this is like we're just like, oh my God, it's like summer. It's beautiful. The stuff we actually have the problem where if it freezes, that's fine. But if it starts to thaw, then it actually makes it worse. So like the rig actually had a breakdown today because we've been at, minus 10 to minus 30 for so long. They had some issue that it isn't an issue until it gets really cold and then warms up. And so it warmed up and they had this fucking issue today because it can't handle going from that cold to warm up.
So you're saying that we actually need more methane emissions to warm the planet up so that y'all don't have issues with production, right?
Yes. Yeah. We definitely need that.
So we need
Bitcoin
to
does not. Bitcoin is
warming.
actually working against the benefit of the planet, which it would have by warming up. Bitcoin is not
global
fixing
warming
it.
great
It's making
again.
it worse.
I think
Scientology is working in favor of the planet. I'm going to be like Sleds. That shit he's been doing on Twitter where he's replacing Bitcoin with Scientology.
It's so good. It's so right. I mean, it's like, my God, I remember I listened to this podcast and they were interviewing, oh God, what's his name? He's this multi-billionaire investor guy. And he was talking about people that he knew and respected, talking to him and sending him things that he said they read like Babylonian religious texts about fucking Bitcoin. It was a great quote. God,
I mean, that's
Scientology.
basically Max and Frack Slap and all those guys. They're so deep down that Bitcoin rabbit hole.
But at least Frack Slap has pizza parties. I mean, he does have that going for him.
Well, and it is awesome that he got Bitcoin on their balance sheet by using credit card points or whatever from the pizza.
I mean, he should be grateful that people want to invest in his company because of how much of a hard time I give him. Frankly, I should be getting a fucking finder's fee.
You are doing guerrilla marketing for digital wildcatters. Just like I do guerrilla marketing for Underdog. You know what? Honestly, I think this is all a fucking ploy at this point. You're on their fucking payroll, and I know it.
That is a bold statement. You're
getting paid loonies and fucking toonies.
Loonies and toonies.
I'm up there dancing, and they're throwing loonies at me like a Canadian stripper.
Oh shit! Fuck yeah.
That's what we do, man.
Bitcoin is the past. It's all about shit coins.
Yeah, shit coins.
You mean the Canadian dollar?
Dude, I've owned so much fucking Doge for so long, that goddamn dumpster fire.
I
started out as a joke.
I still got SHIB, and the only reason I got into SHIB is because of Landman, bro. Which I made some money, didn't bail out of it, so I'm still there. I'm still up and profit, but gosh damn, dude, fucking.
I'm down on SHIB, dude. I'm down $100.
Those coins have too high of a market cap for me. I need the single millions market cap.
I want to talk about the original shit coins, Canadian oil and gas stocks. That's where it's at.
Need to make an EF coin.
My CVE's been crushing. Should have bought more energy fucking stocks. I'm an idiot.
Well, I don't know. Did you guys see what BRV was talking about with EQT?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Frack Slap's been, pumping their dick so hard for so long, I think that's a pretty good indicator that they're probably short-worthy at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, like, I don't see the hypothesis or justification for a short position on natural gas moving forward. I don't personally see it. I don't know. Maybe it's just natural for all of us because we lived through so many years of suppressed pricing to where it was on most of our bingo cards to have like $3 an M forever, I think. And now with the latest change and a bit of volatility in the market and pushing on the higher side, I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes moving forward. I do understand why it's so easy for people to still have a bit of a pessimistic outlook towards it, but who knows? I'm a bit more bullish on natural gas moving forward. I think it's got more room to run, and especially gaining momentum politically, because I think it's kind of been grouped in with oil as being a bad shit.
I honestly want to, be long on natural gas because, when I first, came into this, I didn't know shit about natural gas at all. And, up until recently, that's when I really been starting to pay attention and all that. I really can't think of, I don't think I've ever, been on a, just a straight gas well itself. I've never worked in, the Barnett and all that. I've worked in Eagle Ford, all that. So it's all new to me. And, I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing the run, and I want to see it go far. Just like, we're approaching 7 years high on fucking crude right now itself. We're looking at prices that I thought, honestly, after the 2015 crash, we're looking at prices that I thought I would never fucking see again, dude.
I agree. I don't know.
Man, I remember the first rig I was on was in the Barnett, and gas was $12.50 an MCF.
Gosh damn, dude.
Oh, dude, I was
right before the bottom.
Fuck, man, I was in college. I wanted that shit to last forever.
So was Sandridge?
Yeah, that was back when people were drilling vertical gas wells and making money.
You just made me hard by saying vertical.
2-stage frac, man.
So when gas was real badass back in the day, did Sandridge have a lot to do with it? And whatever. Okay, so I see that dude Josh Young pumping Sandridge and all that. Honestly, I hope I don't get a lot of flack for this. I hope I never go on any type of Sandridge shit ever again. But I remember the first time I ever went on any type of Sandridge location, which was south of Fort Stockton, literally no man's land, like bumfuck Egypt, even worse than that. And they, I guess they said that it's a 400 square mile ranch, which previously used to be owned by Clayton Williams. They said that back in the day, I guess, during 2008, 2009, that it used to be a fucking city, that there was just rig after rig after rig after rig. When I went during that time, it was fucking no man's land. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen if natural gas continues to, if it does continue on some sort of bull run itself. Like, are we going to start fucking, is the Barnett going to go crazy again like it used to be, before I actually came into the game and all that shit?
I think Barnett's been fucking pretty drilled up, man. There's some locations left for sure, but I think Barnett, where I'm most bullish on Barnett, would be like refracs. I think we still got some room to run there and improvements to make there. But as far as like long-term gas pricing goes, I think it's always boiled down to, supply demand thing. And United States has been so goddamn spoiled with natural gas. We're so good at it. All we have to do is go drill a couple more fucking Haynesville or Appalachian wells and we're good to go. So that's kind of the reasoning for suppressed pricing forever. But then again, you have like that emerging LNG market on the other side, and then you got to think globally.
Well,
once you start thinking that, and then
you have
but I think
motherfuckers like Nancy Pelosi talking about how gas prices are so high that she feels like we need to embargo exports, and it's like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Look at Europe.
Yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But fuck, a lot of money can be made at $4 an M, but I think we'd all like it a little higher too.
I know, like I say, like, I talked a lot of shit to Tom Slocum about being fiscally conservative and everything, but dude, I wouldn't even give a fuck at this point that if everything just fucking explodes. I'm ready. I'm ready for it, dude. Like I said, I didn't think it would happen after the 2015 crash, but there's still that, that hope that this shit's gonna come roaring back. And the way things are going, it's really looking like, we're close to $84 just on WTI itself. They're saying that we could see 100 by the end of the year. The way things are going, I think that we're going to see a real good possibility of 100 within less than 2 to 3 months, man.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I probably won't even have time to post on Twitter.
No kidding.
Dude, my boss, I told this to my boss today. I said, I get anxiety when you call me because I know you're only calling me to put me on a job while I'm on a job, but at the same time put me on a job. So he's trying to like job inception my ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, it is so crazy up here. It's unbelievable. I don't think I'm going to get like a day off until the end of March. And you know, for
round schedule.
Hey,
fuck, man,
it's crazy. I mean, Canadian oil right now is selling for more in Canadian dollars than it was in 2010 to 2014. It's insane. It's so crazy. Everybody up here is just making money hand over fist, and you cannot get services. It's crazy.
I mean, we can't.
Why aren't they buying pipe from
here.
Kitty? I'll send some fucking pipe up there, Alberta. You need to connect me with some people that need some.
I think your pipe has COVID.
Can you get 2 3/8 coated? If you can get 2 3/8 coated pipe, man, and you can get it up here.
I got coated.
Man, I was talking to somebody and they were saying literally we can't even get it.
They haven't called me.
That's because they haven't called the kitty.
That's right, man. The guy I worked for is a fucking dog, man. He was buying his ass off when times were bad. So
okay, I got to remember who that was. Somebody. Oh man, let me think of that because I'll think of who that was and I'll get them in touch with you.
I ended up selling. I didn't do much last year, but I ended up selling like $500,000 worth of pipe. It was awesome.
Nice.
You killed a lot of claws last year, though. That's for damn sure.
Dude, I was fucking drinking all the time.
Kitty's got to keep his claws sharp.
Awful.
I used to hate fucking cats, and we have a shop cat that for some reason always comes to me and is in love with me. And because of Kitty, like I've low key been thinking about buying a fucking cat.
Dude, cats are great, man. Like you got to appreciate cats. They're good. I like them. I like cats. There, I said it. I'm not apologizing. I don't care. I like cats.
Well, Jacob Corley made a post the other day saying that if you're a cat person, more than likely we're not going to be friends. And I was like, all right, bet.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool. I'm totally cool with that. Like, I'm already not friends, so that's great. Cool.
Hey, James, I got a quick question for you. Are y'all mostly employed by the actual like E&P companies, or are y'all like a third party that's going out and doing this monitoring on behalf of a regulatory body, or who's the main client?
No, just strictly upstream and midstream.
Okay. So just kind of like trying to keep a cap on the bad PR from methane emissions.
Yeah, there are actually people or companies in the space that will contract with like the EDF, and we don't do that.
Okay. So I know there's been a couple of articles over the last 2 years or so, people going out with FLIR cameras and claiming to film, billions of tons of emissions and stuff. And then there's been a lot of pushback on that a lot of these people are literally just getting, the FLIR camera from Best Buy and going out there, and anything that shows up on it, they're saying this is
could be steam, could be anything. Yeah, that's.
So y'all are using
I don't think those people are like
equipment, right?
Yes. I don't think those people are trained FLIR operators either. So, every plume looks like methane when you have an IR camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a few of our customers have been accused by, NGOs in flyovers. And once we park a trailer out there, it's like, no, there's no way it's leaking as much as they're claiming. So
are y'all basically setting up like field stations to do 24/7 monitoring on certain sites?
Yep. Compressor stations, well pads, pretty much. Yeah, that's probably 95% of our activity.
What is the actual?
We also do engine testing, but
what does the actual like field setup that y'all have look like? Is that like a Is it just like a trailer that y'all park out somewhere or what?
Yeah. So it's a trailer with a mast with a hyperspectral camera on top and a computer on the bottom. And we can remote into it. And it basically, we program what we want it to see. And it kind of scans the whole facility 24/7 and drops the detections to us to process.
Can your hyperspectral camera see through time?
I wish.
That sounds like it just sounds kind of trippy.
How many of these like field units, just kind of like ballpark, do y'all have running right now?
Right now we have 8, but 2 are kind of experimental.
It's all methane emissions. I must have missed this.
Yeah.
So, are there any? Do you have competition out there? I imagine.
There are a couple of companies doing different things than us.
Okay.
Just different measurement techniques. I know some people use planes, some people use drones, some use passive sniffers, some put it on a truck and drive around a pipeline. So, yeah, there's all sorts of, and there's satellites. But
are these operators that are using these? Are they passing through these fees on operating expenses to their non-op partners?
That's a good question. I assume they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't give a fuck
they-
about the
yeah, they
methane.
don't-
So
I could also see that being an expense the operator is proactively taking to
right,
not end up on one of those, Wall Street Journal articles or whatever.
yeah, and I'm just simply
Yeah, like
asking
the,
from a passive standpoint if
Yeah.
they're passing that on. I mean, I get it from the operator and publicly traded company standpoint.
I would
but-
say that generally, if this was 5 years ago, absolutely that's being passed on.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that nowadays, I don't know, could go either way.
maybe. Yeah,
Read the lease,
they'll probably just make up for it another way. Those squirrels.
If it's Chesapeake, then absolutely they're passing that on.
Dude, there's some fucked up shit going on in the world. I can't stand it. I never want to market a drop of gas through an operator again in my life. I don't trust them.
I feel like this is the point we could use a midstream expert like Buck or Bomber on here to defend the midstream companies because they get a pretty bad rap. I mean, I'm not a fan. I know BRV says it's a total scam.
It's a bit unnecessary.
I gotta run. You guys have a good day. It was really great to chat.
Take it easy, man. Thanks for being here.
Be safe out there, man.
I absolutely will. I'll keep it warm.
Don't sink the Unimog.
I probably will.
So I know that Colin, Digital Wildcatters, whatever the hell you want to call it, is going to be hosting a space tonight at about 6 p.m., I believe. And they will be having Dwayne Timpton on there. Is anyone going to tune into that?
Nope.
I'm going on a hot date.
I probably won't be able to as much as I wanted to hear Dwayne. I've tried looking up information on him. The only thing that I can find is just everything that he has on his website itself.
He seems like an all right dude. I'm going to be interviewing him early next week. And I talked to him for a little bit the other day. Seems like he's an honest dude. I don't know that he's necessarily hitting the campaign trail as hard as some of the other candidates.
He definitely isn't. I noticed that he did start following me. I'm very interested in him. I know people are getting tired of hearing about all this bullshit or whatever. I haven't made a decision. I mean, like it really fucking matters what people think, what I have to say. But I would really like to know, I want to know as much as I can about this guy to be able to make sure that I make the right decision in the future or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's from Arkansas, so there's that.
I know he works. He worked in the Permian. I know that too. So he actually has, legitimate experience in the oil and gas industry.
Well, boys,
Big Suey.
I think we've kind of covered everything that we set out to talk about today. We're going to kind of start wrapping things up a little early today, but we got WTXOil who's been sitting here, and Scotty, neither one of them have said shit yet.
Or JrsMesh.
I know.
Hey, I said Woo Pig a second ago.
Okay.
Don Jr., I heard you got a new song.
Yeah, I recorded it last weekend. I'll probably drop it on Sunday. I need to make a little video for it again.
Oh, they made it sound like you already released it. The EFT.
No.
Some shit.
No, it's it'll just be another parody one. This one's probably a little less known, so I don't know. That's my biggest fear with it is it's not as much of a mainstream song.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's a duet with my wife actually too, so it'll be a good one. Got her involved.
Obi gave a shout out to Square Toes again. Square Toe Mafia all day.
No, but it'll be a good one. I hope it's well received.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, man.
Well, thanks for being on, guys. I appreciate your time, and we will be coming back next week, hopefully at 3 p.m. We had to start a little late today because I was on the way down south, but thanks for being here, and we will catch you guys later.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Pleasure as
Later.
always.
Y'all have a good one. Be safe.
Take it easy.